another edition of Satyavani. Hope all our viewers are safe and sound and are practicing social distancing. We begin this edition of Satyavani with the regular COVID updates. As of yesterday, nationwide COVID cases have dropped in the mid 2 lakh range, 2,63,533 to be precise, which is almost half in comparison to the numbers we saw in early May, which were somewhere in the 4 lakh range. The lockdown in Delhi has been extended till 24th May, and the Maharashtra lockdown is still in place till 31st May. The current recovery rate from coronavirus is 83.5%. And now, Trisha with the cyclone update.
Thank you so much, Agarya. Moving on to updates on the cyclone. A severe cyclonic storm made landfall on India's west coast, home to major refineries and ports, causing heavy rain and strong winds at a time when the nation is already battling the world's worst outbreak of COVID-19. Mumbai witnessed heavy rains, strong winds, and waterlogging as Taukte skirted the city's coast on Monday, going from a Category 1 cyclone to a Category 4 storm. COVID-19 patients were shifted from jumbo COVID centers and vaccinations was halted in many parts as the city dealt with the first severe cyclone of 2021. Battling extreme weather, the Indian Navy and Coast Guard have so far rescued 314 people on board 2 barges that went adrift in the Arabian Sea near Mumbai hours before Cyclone Taukte made landfall on Gujarat coast. Many areas of Ahmedabad city were inundated with knee-deep water following incessant downpours since yesterday afternoon as Cyclone Taukte passed northward along the district's periphery. Cyclone to weaken gradually into a deep depression, Indian Meteorological Department. The Taukte cyclone will be entering Rajasthan as depression by late Tuesday night, as a result which at least 7 districts of the state will be witnessing heavy to very heavy rainfall. The Met Department has announced red alert in over half a dozen districts. Jalore, Sirohi, Udaipur, Pali, Dungapur, Chittorgarh, where heavy to very heavy rainfall is expected. Thank you so much. Moving forward with the news.
Thank you, Trisha. Well, this is a really sad news, but the good thing is that Indian Navy and Coast Guards are continuously helping people who are affected by the cyclone. So today's national update: BJP leader post Congress document says elaborate plans to defame Narendra Modi. Bharatiya Janata Party leader Samit Patra on Tuesday posted 2 purpose documents of the Congress Research Department on Twitter and called them a toolkit with an elaborate plan to defame Prime Minister Narendra Modi, politicize religion, and help build a biased narrative over COVID-19 management and the Central Vista project. Disgusting to say the least, Congress leader Rahul Gandhi wanting to use the opportunity of pandemic to destroy the image of PM Modi. Congress workers instructed to call the mutant strain as Modi strain. No stone left unturned to scar the name of India with the help of foreign journalist, Patra tweeted. Rajiv Gowda, who heads the Congress Research Department, immediately hit back and accused the BJP of propagating a fake toolkit on COVID-19 mismanagement and attributing it to his party. In a tweet, Gowda said they'll file a first information report over forgery against BJP Chief JP Nadda and Samit Patra. Now moving forward with some state updates.
Thank you so much, Mansi, for a national update. State update. Rising prices of fertilizers worry farmers in Maharashtra. Farmers in Maharashtra's Aurangabad district have raised concern over the rising prices of fertilizers amid the grim COVID-19 situation and asked help from the government ahead of the upcoming sowing season. When contacted, State Agriculture Minister Dada Bhuse told PTI that they have written to the central government to reduce the prices of fertilizers. Notably, the center recently said it is considering subsidies to offset rise in global prices of raw materials of phosphatic and potassic P and K fertilizers in a bid to ensure their availability to farmers and subsidized rate across the country. Thank you so much. Now moving on to Muskan.
Thank you, Ritika. HC pulls up Center for no reply in Disha Ravi case. The Delhi High Court on Tuesday pulled up the climate for failing to file its response in a case lodged by 22-year-old climate activist Disha Ravi against the alleged violation of her right to fair trial and right to privacy. In March, the court had given the center a last opportunity to file a counter affidavit. The center cited the surge in COVID-19 cases as a reason for the delay in filing its reply. The court, while adjourning the case to August, asked the government to file a reply within 4 weeks. Ravi is out on bail in the case registered by the police to investigate the toolkit tweeted by Swedish environmental activist Greta Thunberg. In a petition before the HC, Ravi sought direction to restrain the Delhi police from leaking her private chats to the media. She also sought direction to the Center for Appropriate Action against news channels for publishing content of the alleged conversations. The court in February directed the editors of media channels to exercise proper editorial control over the news content to ensure the investigation and case was not hampered in any manner, and also ordered the Delhi police to strictly abide by a media policy issued by the Ministry of Home Affairs in 2010 for investigating agencies. Now moving on to Bobby for some more updates.
Thank you, Muskan. Moving on with the state updates. Kerala government swearing in Thursday restricted to 500 invitees. The newly elected CPIM-led Left Democratic Front government in Kerala will be sworn in on Thursday at the Central Stadium in Thiruvananthapuram, with number of invitees restricted to 500, according to Chief Minister Pinarayi Vijayan. The LDF, which defied tradition and won a second straight term in recent elections, will have a new look cabinet in which Chief Minister Pinarayi Vijayan will be the only repeat. The ceremony is taking place amid a lockdown in the state, which is in force till May 23, and 4 districts, including Thiruvananthapuram, under a stricter triple lockdown due to rising coronavirus cases. KK Shailaja, who was praised for her handling of the coronavirus outbreak as Kerala's health minister, will not be a part of left-led government's new cabinet. Shailaja's exclusion has drawn sharp reactions on social media, even from rivals like Congress leader Shashi Tharoor. Over to Paki for more updates.
Thank you, Bobby. So for last city update of the day, portals of Badrinath Shrine open. First prayers on behalf of PM Modi. The portals of Badrinath Shrine in Camora district of Uttarakhand were open on Tuesday, with the first prayers being held on behalf of Prime Minister Narendra Modi for the welfare and good health of all. The portals of all the Char Dham, Badrinath, Kedarnath, Yamunotri and Gangotri are now open. The portals of Badrinath Shrine were open at 4:15 a.m. amid the rituals performed by the priests led by their head known as Ravat. The shrine has been decked up with 20 quintals of flowers. As Chardham Yatra has been postponed, only priests and some officials were present during the ceremony. Chief Minister Tirath Singh Rawat congratulated all devotees on the opening of the portals, appealing to them to offer prayer from their homes. The portals of the Badrinath Shrine were closed in November last year for the winter months following traditional rituals and safety protocols for COVID-19. Thank you. Let's move on to Vidya for some international news.
Thank you, Paki. International news. The unsolved case of the Havana syndrome. 2 White House officials were struck by a mysterious illness late last year, including one who was passing through a gate onto the property. Newly revealed details that come as investigators are still struggling to determine who or what is behind these strange incidents. Multiple sources in the US government say that the episodes affected 2 officials on the National Security Council in November 2020, one the day after the presidential election and one several weeks later. The cases are consistent with an inexplicable constellation of sensory experiences and physical symptoms that have sickened more than 100 US diplomats, spies, and troops around the globe and have come to be known as Havana syndrome. The intelligence community still isn't sure who is causing the strange array of nervous system symptoms, or if they can be definitively termed attacks. Even the technology that might cause such an inconsistent set of symptoms is a matter of debate. Now let's go ahead with Harish.
Thank you, Vidya. Now let's move on towards today's opening bell. Sensex declines 150 points. Nifty 50 tests 15,050. Adani Green surges 5%. Tata Motors tanks 5%. Following the updates of financial news of the day, India's gold imports jumped to $6.3 billion in April. India's gold imports jumped to $6.3 billion, around 46,400 crore for the month of April due to a surge in domestic demand. According to Commerce Ministry data, gold imports stood at $2.83 million, which is 21.61 crore in April 2020, the data showed. However, silver imports during the month dipped by 88.53% to about $11.9 million, around 88.6 crore rupees in Indian rupees. Thank you. Now let's move on to Agarya for today's editorial.
Thank you, Harish, for the financial news. Now, moving on to the editorial. Today, we'll take a peek inside the mind of a Bhakt. What drives them and why do they take offense to the criticisms that have nothing to do with them and everything to do with who they appointed as their leader? These Bhakts, they happen to be ordinary citizens like you and I. But what separates them from us is that they operate on a more utilitarian-based mindset, where everything is done for the greater good. They tend to live in the future while simultaneously choosing to turn a blind eye to the violent shortcomings of what is happening in the present. The biggest question is why? Why do they defend their leader's shortcomings with every fiber of their beings? Well, the answer lies in how their leader communicates with them. Have you ever noticed how he tends to talk in a plural sense when it comes to not so distant plans that he plans on executing? For example, we will fight corruption with demonetization. We will clean the nation in the Swachh Bharat Abhiyan. We will build the mandir and we will fight corona by banging utensils on our balconies, and so on. This ensures a personal connection with the people. This way, he isn't telling them to do what he's asking. It feels like they're doing it on their free will. Thus, when you question his ideals, Bhakts don't perceive this as a question to the government, but rather a question on their own actions. A simple manipulation tactic doing rounds once a while on nation television intends to ensure a personal connection with all those who are watching, hence holding all virtually accountable. Thank you. Now moving on to Srijan for the op-ed.
Thank you, Agarya, for that amazing editorial. Now, today's op-ed, the cycle of cyclones. India is the third worst affected country due to climate-induced natural disasters. The country's coastal regions in particular are highly vulnerable because of rapid urbanization, high population densities, and related economic activities such as agriculture, aquaculture, tourism, industries, and trade. The 7,500-kilometer long coastline is home to about 260 million people, or one-third of India's total population, and are perennially exposed to climate variabilities and extreme weather events. The government, however, has been using something called the Coastal Zone Regulation Notification as a means to further industrial development in ecologically dangerous coastal areas. Last year's notification was a new government order, making it easier for industrial projects started in ecologically sensitive coastal areas to expand, and industries violating coastal zone law, which are functioning without a valid prior clearance, can now get away with it by just paying compensation. Knowing such facts, the question is, will the administration continue to give free clearance to violating parties as it has done before, or will we wake up and make plans about developing said infrastructures to save some lives? The change brought about by the ministry is in continuation of previous such attempts to make the pathway for violating industries easier. Environmental experts who have in the past successfully argued against such projects note that the implementation of this order in word and in spirit will make it easier for the violators to get their illegal projects regularized. Still not listening to the environmentalists, now more than 90 people are missing after a barge off the coast of India's Mumbai city sank amid the Tauktae cyclone. 3 other commercial barges carrying about 700 people are stranded at the sea in wake of the cyclone, which has battered India's western coast. As noted in the last 2 years, the Union Cabinet quietly cleared the Coastal Regulation Zone notification, highly debated upon for its impact on coastal ecology. In fact, over the last 27 years, the notification has been iterated twice and modified 34 times, making it the most amended law in the history of India. The environmentalists claim that the notification favors limited interest. By opening up 6,000 kilometers of mainland coastline for more commercial activities, the administration has put in harm's way the ecology and communities vulnerable to such extreme weather events. Thank you.
Well, that was an interesting piece of news.
Moving on with some political news. Supreme Court issues notice for probe into BJP workers' killings. The Supreme Court on Tuesday issued a notice to the West Bengal government in connection with the plea seeking a direction for a special investigation team probe into the alleged deaths of the BJP workers in post-poll violence. A two-judge bench of the Apex Court, headed by Justice Vineet Saran and comprising Justice B.R. Gavani, was hearing a petition filed by the families of two BJP supporters who were killed by TMC workers. Earlier this month, the BJP had alleged that 9 of its party workers had been killed in the post-poll violence. However, the TMC has refuted the allegations. On May 7th, a four-member team deputed by the Ministry of Home Affairs had visited the Diamond Harbour area of West Bengal to assess this ground situation. Now, let's hear from Tanya for some crime updates.
Thank you, Srishti. Now, crime news. 86 inmates found COVID-19 positive at Bihar jail. At least 86 inmates at Bihar Channave jail were found COVID-19 positive on Monday. Officials said and added they have been kept under isolation on the prison premise, which was being sanitized. The jail houses around 2,000 prisoners and around 150 of them were tested. Officials said jail authorities have formed a special team of doctors to conduct regular health checks. Amit Kumar, the jail superintendent, said medicine have been provided to the infected inmates and if required, they will be shifted to the nearest COVID care center. We have sought directives from the prison directorate for shifting the prisoners to other jails, said Kumar. He added the testing of the remaining inmates will be carried out in a day or two. Dr. Avinash Kumar, who led the team that found COVID-19 symptoms among the inmates, said the infected prisoners have been isolated in a special ward and medical teams have been deputed to treat them. All precautions for prevention of the spread of the infection are being taken. We have conducted tests on inmates as well as staffer immediately after seeing symptoms. Earlier testing and treatment is very important, which we are ensuring. Now moving on to Sayuk for more updates.
Well, thank you, Tanya, for this piece. I don't think that anybody will be left out by the virus, no matter how cut off they are from the society. Now let's hear sad news from Haryana. 25-year-old Haryana man out to buy medicines killed by mob. Family claims he was lynched. A bomb in Mewat area of Gurgaon killed 25-year-old Asif Khan and thrashed two of his cousins while they were out buying medicines and were traveling from Nuh to Sohna. The incident took place in Nuh of Mewat when Asif Khan, who was a gym trainer, was returning home with his cousin brothers. The three were attacked by mob and Asif Khan was beaten to death while the two others were left with grievous injuries. The incident led tension in the area and locals blocked roads demanding the arrest of the attackers. Later, when the police tried to disperse the protesting locals, they pelted stones at the policemen. Asif Khan's family alleged that the 25-year-old was lynched by the mob. They attacked him with sticks, rods, stones, and lynched him. After killing Asif, the mob dumped his body in a village in Sohna. When villagers found out about the body, they blocked the Gurgaon Alwar road and started protesting. When Mewat police reached the spot, they pelted stones at the policemen. The police later managed to disperse the protest. However, tension prevailed in the region, said DSP Sudhir Taneja. Police have lodged and also have nabbed 6 people for questioning, while the family has said more than 12 people were involved in the killing of Asif Khan. Thank you. And now let's move to Shubhankar for the health updates.
Before moving on to Shubhankar, we want to showcase a small video. So we'll be doing that right now.
So sorry.
झोल झाल है भाई सब झोल झाल है, अरे झोल झाल है भाई सब झोल झाल है। बिना ऑक्सीजन के सब अस्पताल है, बेड नहीं मिल रहे पेशेंट बेहाल है। झोल झाल है भाई सब झोल झाल है, झोल झाल। पिज्जा नूडल्स खाने हैं तो घर बनाइए, बहुत जरूरी हो तभी बाहर जाइए। गोवा और मालदीव्स के प्लान्स अभी ना बनाइए, गलती जो की पहले वो ना दोहराइए। झोल झाल है भाई सब झोल झाल है, अरे झोल झाल है भाई सब झोल झाल है। दवा जैसी चीजें 4 गुना दाम है, ब्लैक में मिले ऑक्सीजन कैसा ये काल है। झोल झाल है भाई सब झोल झाल है, अरे झोल झाल है भाई सब झोल झाल है।
इंसान ही ना समझे इंसान का हाल है, इंसानियत में ही झोल झाल है।
Okay, now moving on to Shubhankar for the health news.
Thank you, Agarya. Now moving on to health news. 5 lakhs from patient for a bed held. 2 people, including a lab assistant of Delhi's AIM hospital, have been arrested for allegedly demanding rupees 5 lakh from a COVID-19 patient to arrange a bed in Safdarjung hospital. As per the police, the patient's son paid him rupees 2.8 lakh as an advance for this, following which the accused and his accomplice fled to Himachal Pradesh. DCP Rohini Pranav Dayal said the accused have been identified as Pankaj Kumar and his sister Ram Kanwarpreet Kaur. Pankaj worked at AIMS in the hematology lab while Kanwarpreet was a nurse and currently out of job. We received a complaint on the COVID helpline from Haripal Kumar, who alleged that the 2 persons took rupees 2.8 lakh from the pretext of getting his wife admitted to Safdarjung hospital. On the basis of his complaint, an FIR was registered. Police found that Haripal had come across contact details of Pankaj. When he called him, Pankaj asked him to give rupees 5 lakh for the admission. He later sent his sister's phone number and informed the couple that she would help them, said the DCP. The accused claimed that she was admitted because of them and demanded rupees 5 lakhs. Haripal's son gave them rupees 2.8 lakhs. Thank you. And now moving on to Dhairya for more updates.
There seems to be an issue with Dhairya. So we'll be moving on to Avni for the cartoon of the day.
Good morning. The cartoon of the day says that quite apart from its abysmal handling of COVID-19, the Modi government has destroyed every institution of democracy and the country has plummeted on every index of human development. And the health minister asks us to eat dark chocolate to avoid depression. Moving on to Arush for further updates.
Thank you, Avni, for a cartoon which really makes us think about what the people in power should focus on and what they are really focusing on right now. Now, moving on with the tech news. Have you accepted the new terms of service on WhatsApp? Here's what it means for you. It has been over 3 days since WhatsApp's new terms of service went live. Now, if you have not clicked on accept yet, you will not lose the functions on WhatsApp, at least immediately. However, if you are someone who thought you will have to comply with the new terms sooner or later and did go ahead and click on accept, WhatsApp will bring about some changes. No, you cannot undo the changes once you have accepted the new terms. WhatsApp on Monday told the Delhi High Court that it is not going to defer the May 15th deadline, and users not accepting new terms will lose features to the app over a span of time. It also noted that the company was complying with the Indian IT law in contrast to the center's views. Reports noted that contacting a normal business account is like chatting with a friend or family member, while chatting with a business account that uses cloud providers can give access to the details of the chat to generate targeted ads. The special business accounts will have labels and users can check a business privacy policy by sending a single message before starting a conversation. Only the chats between WhatsApp business accounts that use cloud providers and users can be stored and managed by business accounts, which is also possible only if the user contracts them. The report notes that these special business accounts are labeled so users can restrict themselves from interacting with these accounts if they wish to. Secondly, users' data can be targeted if users interact with business accounts on Instagram or Facebook to generate ads. It is entirely up to the user if he or she wants to use Facebook Shops, Notes, WhatsApp. If users interact with Facebook Shops, WhatsApp will inform users how this action is shared with Facebook. And with that, we move to Aman for some sports updates for the day.
Thank you, Arush. Guess I won't be using WhatsApp after a while. Anyways, now onto the sports update. Keeper and scorer. None of the science behind the goal which could match the sheer romance of it. A goalkeeper scoring a goal in the last minute of a must win game. Even by football's unceasing ability to surprise or shock, it's difficult to find a more fairy tale script or a more wicked twist to a game. It evokes a melange of emotions, disbelief, tears, and laughter. It's so rare that a feat like this has happened just 6 times in the history of English Premier League. The last time a goalkeeper scored in the league was 8 years ago. What makes Allison's goal even more precious is that it was a header, the first time it has happened in the league's history. His goal came at a time when goal scoring goalkeepers have gone out of fashion. While modern day goalkeepers are more enterprising, they are not quite tasked with goal scoring or spot kick duties, as was goalkeepers in the 90s, when the likes of Roger Sani, Jose Luis Schrillerwert, and Rene Higuita were frequent goal scorers. Allison might not revive the legacy, but showed that nothing in football quite matches the spontaneous outpouring of emotion as the sight of a goalkeeper scoring a goal. Now over to Rebecca for a deeper dive in the football world.
Thank you, Aman. Now, continuing with the football news on football, Luis Suarez knew success wouldn't come easy at Atletico Madrid. Suarez came to the rescue for Atletico when its Spanish league title chances suddenly appeared to be slipping away on Sunday, scoring an 88th-minute winner in a 2-1 victory against Osasuna that moved the team a win away from claiming its first league title since 2014. We have to get used to the fact that to win this league, you have to suffer, Suarez said. Everybody says that part of Atletico's motto is to suffer, but I didn't think it would be that much. Atletico enters the final round 2 points in front of Real Madrid, which stayed in contention by winning 1-0 at Athletic Bilbao. Madrid has a better head-to-head tiebreaker against its city rival. Barcelona dropped out of contention for the title after losing 2-1 to Celta Vigo at home. Atletico's lengthy spell at the top of the league disappeared in only a few minutes late in the second to last round when all matches were played at the same time. Madrid scored against Athletic in the 68th minute, then Atletico conceded against Osasuna in the 75th. Instead of being in the position of celebrating its first league title in 7 years, Atletico suddenly saw its city rival take control of the title race ahead of the final round. Only a victory could have put Atletico back in the control of its own fate, and Diego Simon's team got it after Renan scored from inside the area in 82nd and Suarez netted the winner with a low shot from near the penalty spot a few minutes from the end. It was a 20th league goal for Suarez, who has been key for Atletico the entire season after being let go by Barcelona. The several hundred Atletico fans outside the Metropolitano cheered loudly and could be heard from inside after Suarez's decisive goal. He took out his jersey as he rushed to celebrate with his teammates. Atletico is trying to win its 11th league title and first since it took on Madrid and Barcelona with a squad led by Diego Costa and Arda. Since 2014, Barcelona has won the league 4 times and Madrid twice, including last season. Atletico's previous title had come in 1996 when Simon still played for the club. Now we'll move on to Agastya for news on entertainment.
Thank you for your update on Luis Suarez, Rebecca. And he quite literally gives credence to the word last minute saver. Now, moving on to entertainment news. Ariana Grande marries Dalton Gomez in a tiny and intimate ceremony. Pop singer Ariana Grande, who had announced her engagement to her boyfriend Dalton Gomez in December, is now married to the real estate agent. According to People magazine, the couple got married in a tiny yet intimate ceremony that comprised of less than 20 people. The room was so happy and full of love. The couple and both families couldn't be happier, a source told People. According to reports, the wedding took place in Ariana Grande and Dalton Gomez's home in California's Montecito. Both Ari and Dalton love Montecito. They spend a lot of time there. It seems only natural that they would get married at Ari's beautiful and historic house, the source said. The seven-ring singer wedding comes just months after she announced her engagement to Dalton Gomez in December last year. Back in December, Ariana Grande had shared series of pictures of herself with Dalton on Instagram. In the pictures, she can be showing off a diamond ring. Forever and some, then some, she wrote in the caption of the post. And now we move back to Agria for concluding the session.
Thank you, Agastya. This concludes another edition of Satyavani. We'll meet again soon. Till then, take care, stay safe, and remember, the television is just a box. Don't let it rule your life. Goodbye and thank you.